What's the worry here, Nick? You've lost some of your talent as an actor?
No. What did he say?
He says he loves you, but he went in a different direction.
I'm done. I'm quitting acting. Tell the trades, it was a tremendous honor to be a part of storytelling and myth-making.
Man, I'm driving through the hills. I'm sorry. One more time.
Nick Cage is an over-the-top and larger-than-life actor with a daughter and ex-wife who finds himself in the twilight of his career. What can go wrong when he accepts a massive payday for attending an island party for an eccentric millionaire superfan? Hey everyone, welcome back to Clubhouse Movies Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Rubalcaba, joined once again by Mr. Abel Pineda, and today we will be reviewing The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, directed by Tom Gormican.
A Nicolas Cage movie about Nick Cage. Yes, there are two of them.
Actually, yeah, I was like, what is it? Oh.
Yeah. Just like how that was meta, this entire movie is meta.
So, the minute I found out this movie existed, I said to myself, I have to see this movie.
Yeah, I don't know which movie I was watching when I walk late into movies when I'm watching, because I don't care for trailers. I can watch them online. But I happened to walk in just as the trailers started for whatever movie I was watching, probably to review. And this was the first one that popped up as I sat down, and I was just flabbergasted. I couldn't believe that there's a movie about Nick Cage.
Yes, and I can't imagine this movie being about a different actor.
Yeah.
I think I was reading that there was some talk that it would have been John Malkovich.
Yeah, but I could see that, but nobody knows enough about John Malkovich's career compared to Nick Cage.
And there's so many Nick Cage memes, and one of which is, not the bees! Not the bees!
It's the best.
And I feel like he's just such a... Like, they play clips of his movies, and I just remember, like, a-hole from The Rock. Is the way he talks to his energy. He's one of a kind. And, like, I saw Prisoners of the Ghostland just because
Nick Cage was in
it. And, like, they mentioned in this movie Mandy, the chainsaw for Mandy.
Yeah.
I'm mad at myself for not having seen Mandy yet. So I really like Nick Cage, and I really like The Rock. And to me, The Rock is also... a James Bond movie in disguise. So I'm one of those people.
The Rock the movie.
The Rock the movie.
You haven't seen that movie yet.
You know who directed The Rock?
No.
Michael Bay.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so...
That makes sense.
Yeah. And I also have...
Great Scott. Yeah. Just kidding.
I also need to say that... so I've seen the new Matrix movie.
As have I.
And I've also seen the new Bill and Ted movie. Ironically, both starring Keanu Reeves.
Yep.
Both, like... actors in the twilight of their careers, let's say. I feel like when I saw those two movies, Keanu Reeves kind of missed a step. He's not as quick as he used to be. And I think there were a couple other like new rehashings of movies. Nick Cage has not lost a step.
Holy crap.
He is still Nick Cage, like,
he is
through
aging
and
in
through.
reverse.
Yeah. And I mean, you could tell like he looks older now.
Yeah.
But he has not lost a bit of acting charm.
Yeah, I feel like if anything, he's gotten better.
Gotten crazier.
Yeah, he is just all-encompassing Nick Cage. He has become the person everybody thinks he is. That's who he is.
So, and then this movie also comes to mind a couple of other movies. I think the one that it kind of is closest to, there was a movie called Confessions of a Dangerous Mind.
Holy crap, I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
Yeah, it was actually directed by George Clooney. And it was the story about the Gong Show host, Chuck Barris, played by Sam Rockwell, who used to tell people he was really a spy or something like that. So the movie was about him being the Gong Show host, but actually really being a spy and traveling around. So this is a movie about Nick Cage, the actor, but actually being played by Nick Cage.
Yeah.
Getting into some crazy stuff, but also movies that this kind of brings to mind is the Three Amigos.
Yeah.
Whereas a group of three actors end up having to become the heroes that they play in movies.
Yeah.
Galaxy Quest.
Yes. Yes, actually.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't remember A Bug's Life, but I feel like A Bug's Life was also the same kind of story where they were actors or of a circus or something.
So
and had to like save
Yeah.
It was like the Three Amigos.
They eventually became the act they portrayed.
Yeah, and for some reason also Team America, which we'll get into as the story kind of unfolds. And I think there were some other movies where superheroes ended up having to like save the world. It's like Flash Gordon or something. But anyway, this movie starts with a kidnapping. I actually came in a little late, so
I will tell you this.
Tell us what happened in the kidnapping.
Yeah, so apparently we see these. It's in Spain, so we see this. These, for some reason, the movie starts off and it's a scene from Con Air. It's Con Air.
Really?
Nick Cage and all of his his long hair glory, and this girl is fangirling over him, and so is her boyfriend. They're like, "Oh man, Nick Cage," and they're doing a little reefer as they're watching it, and then they hear a knock on the door, and I forget what scene it was from Con Air, but I have a feeling it had to do with what's happening next. And then they get a knock on the door, and of course this is the girl gets kidnapped, and now the plot begins.
Yeah, so the whole like first act is us finding out who Nick Cage is, and he's overacting to a producer trying to get a role, saying he says it like in such a way, just like about the black hole of like life. And
he's trying to be this Boston cop, and he has
Boston. Worst Mark Wahlberg impression.
Dude, it's the worst.
Yeah.
But man, does he sell it. It's the best. And you're like, damn it, Nick Cage.
He's doing it with the producer. And the producer's like, yeah, you don't have to read for me. It's all good. He's like, I'm going to read for you. I'm going to do it right here in front of like everybody in front of a hotel. And everyone's like stops and like admires his like acting. It's like,
even the director's like, oh my God.
So beautiful.
Nick Cage. It's like poetry.
Yeah.
Right.
But ultimately he doesn't get the part.
Yeah.
But as he's driving away,
and we have to preface that. So he doesn't get the part, but the reason he is after this part is because he wants a new beginning. He's having this, end of career crisis. He's starting to.
He's having a don't call to come back.
Yeah, exactly. He's having that moment. He's also in debt, lots of debt, and he needs money fast. And he's telling his agent, "This movie is going to be my breakthrough. After that, no collector's going to be coming."
Yeah, because he's estranged from his wife.
Yes.
And he has a daughter.
Yep.
His agent is Neil Patrick Harris, and his Neil Patrick Harrisist also was in Matrix Resurrections, by the way. And right after he auditioned for this guy, as he's driving home or whatever, he has a very unusual conversation with another man in the car. We're going to call him Nicky, which is what he calls him. Nicky is a young Nick Cage.
Oh man,
with longer hair, wearing a leather jacket,
like totally early 80s thrasher hair.
Yeah,
and this freaking punker like motorcycle jacket he's wearing.
And he reminds me of Andrew Dice Clay, like in his prime.
I'll give you another one.
Yeah,
he's totally wearing
early Arnold.
Yeah, he's wearing that gear, that whole getup.
And I went Googling. I couldn't find out what movie this came from. And in a way, I actually think that's the way Nick Cage probably used to dress. So I don't think that's...
So it's his off-screen persona.
Yeah, so he calls him Nicky and he's giving a hard time. And he's like, they're arguing, and then eventually he's like, well, just get out of the car. And he like pulls over. He's like, just get out of the car.
And nobody gets out of the car, obviously, and the camera pans out, and it's just him by himself in the car, stopped in the middle.
And he has casual conversations with Nicky, wherever he goes. But we learned that he has a daughter who's about turning 15 or turning 16. But she makes him watch all these weird film noir movies, all these German expressionist movies. He makes
her watch them.
He makes her watch them, and he just wants to like commentate and talk about it and being really weird about it, that kind of thing. And her birthday party's coming up.
Yeah. And right as it comes up, he goes
to the spa with Neil Patrick Harris, where he gets whipped by eucalyptus leaves or something like that.
Gets beat by them.
Yeah, gets beat by them real good. And then he finds out he didn't get the job.
Yeah.
So he gets drunk and then during the party and gets starts like going to the piano. He's like, it's your birthday.
Well, we still have to get back to why this. So the reason he accepts this, he gets offered this, this $1 million sum to go to a party.
Oh yeah.
And
while
he says, F that party. I got this part coming up. It's going to be the best.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so now he's, not only is he getting pissed off drunk, he's getting angry drunk. he's now like sad drunk as well because now he has to accept this freaking fee to attend a party for a place he didn't want to go to.
He has to go to so he's offered the thing to go to Spain, go to some rich dude's party, and just be there. So he makes a fool of himself at his daughter's birthday, singing a bunch of stupid songs, and no one was. Oh my God, it's Nick Cage at the party, which I kind of don't dig. But he calls Neil Patrick Harris and he's like, "Hey, about that like Spanish like party thing." He's like, "Yeah, it's so stupid. You know, you wouldn't want to go to that." He's like, "Yeah, I'm in." Okay, sounds good. We're gonna make a ton of money.
He's like, "Oh, sounds like it's the best decision ever."
Yeah. So he flies out there.
Yeah,
and they land on kind of like a small jet strip airplane.
Yeah,
and then we smash cut to a CIA sting happening.
Yes, and who we see? God, I forget this guy's name.
He's got the guy with like funny teeth.
Oh yeah, he's got baby teeth. Ike Barinholtz. He plays Martin, and you would know Ike from
a bunch of things.
He's come out in a lot of things. He's been very popular as of late. He did. What was that movie? Neighbors 2 as well.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah, Baby's First Rave.
I feel like he was also in Deep Water.
Probably
was he in Deep Water?
There
were a bunch of lousy comedians.
He was in a lot of freaking movies.
And also, it was a Vivian.
Yeah, Vivian played by
Tiffany Haddish.
Tiffany Haddish. Yeah.
They are running.
Obviously, comedians.
Is she a comedian? I haven't seen her run. But anyway.
No, she is a comedian. Yeah, she's had a stand-up bit.
Well, anyway, they are running a CIA sting, and they're expecting this big-time drug dealer to be coming out, or arms dealer.
Yes.
Big-time arms dealer to come out of this private jet.
We don't know yet.
They don't know yet, but out comes, and then the guy is looking, he's like, "Oh my God, are you kidding me?" She's like, "What?"
He's like, "I must be losing my mind."
Yeah, this can't be real. Nick Cage freaking came out of the airplane. Nick Cage? We got to abort. Like, this is like, something's up.
Exactly. And Vivian's like, "We're not going to abort this. We're not going to abort this." And then Nick Cage enters a tiny little terminal, and she goes, "Oh my God, it's Nick Cage!" Like she's the only person.
We just saw Croods too.
Which was a pretty good movie.
Emma Stone was in that. Yeah, that's what he said. He's like, "I was in that with Emma Stone."
Yeah, it's not that she was in it with him; he was in it with her.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool, like a humble brag by
and she plants a tracker on him because obviously he's going to go meet with the arms dealer. So he goes to the mansion where
he gets picked up by this fancy boat, this speedboat.
Well, he didn't get picked up yet.
Yeah, no, he got picked up by a boat on the way. So that's how he got to the mansion from the airport. He got picked up,
but the guy who picked him up was Javi, right?
Yeah.
So the car took him to the boat.
Oh, I was just gonna say he was talking crap to him the entire way.
Yeah, the car took him to the dock.
Yeah,
and at the dock was Pedro Pascal playing Javi.
Yes,
but he thought that this guy was just the boatman.
Yeah,
so he's like, he's not gonna want me to suck his dick or something, is he?
The guy that owns this house, what's his name?
Javi.
Is Javi gonna want me to?
I am Javi.
Nick Cage.
And he's like, "No." He's like, "What's the name of the guy again?" He's like Javi. He's like, "Well, I'm not gonna have to like." And he does that thing with the tongue in the cheek thing. Yeah. And he's like, "I don't think so. No."
He's like, "Where's Javi?" He's like, "I'm Javi."
I am Javi.
And hold on real quick. Let's do a regular cut. Because this whole scene is a little meta because you start seeing Javi, aka Pedro Pascal's character, kind of like, holy crap, it's Nick Cage. But in real life, Pedro Pascal was kind of intimidated by Nick Cage, of co-starring with him.
Yeah.
He actually said that this movie, because he saw Nick Cage's acting, reinvigorated his want to act. Nick Cage reignited the fire of Mr. freaking Mandalorian Pedro Pascal. So this whole emotion here, the chemistry is just insane. So keep that in mind as we carry on with this fantastical review.
Yeah, because he just keeps bashing him, and then eventually, he does admit it. I am Javi.
Yeah,
I am Javi.
And he's so giddy about it.
Yeah, and then Nick Cage does this like fist in hand, and then bows. And
he doesn't have to close. He's got so many rings on, he can't close his fist.
Yeah, he's like
Ghostland.
Yeah, pretty much. And then Javi does it back.
Yeah. He loses his mind. He's like,
oh my God, this movie, and then
so good.
It is. They go to his mansion. He meets his girlfriend, but like his girlfriend, but not girlfriend, like housekeeper or whatever.
Yeah,
or head of
that's
staff.
Gabriella, played by Alessandra Mastronardi.
Yeah, and okay, so he doesn't want to. He's like, oh, I'm so jet lagged, I can't like go anywhere. She's like, we are gonna go and you're gonna hang out with him, and it's gonna be great. Yeah. And then like,
we skipped the scene.
Yeah.
So Nick Cage gets there, and Nick Cage is it's so weird referring to Nick Cage as Nick Cage in a Nick Cage movie. So he's laying down, they're sunbathing, and Nick Cage is just getting day drunk.
Yeah.
At this point.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And then Javi shows up in freaking in a torpedo manpedo freaking Speedo over here.
Yeah, mankini.
Yeah, those things are gross. So he sits down, he's the reason we're talking about this is because Neil Patrick Harris's character had a screenplay that he was supposed to give to Nick Cage, which he never did.
Well, he told him, he's like, garbage off, but throw that in the dumpster.
Throw that in the fire.
Yeah.
And so Javi's just like, he's being like a super fan. He's laying down next to Nick Cage and he's like, huh? And Nick Cage is like, what? He's like, oh no, I thought you said something. And he's like, well, anyway, while we're talking about this, did you get a chance to read my screenplay? And then Nick Cage gets up, puts his thumb on the bottle of beer he has, and just casually takes a step into the deep end of a pool with sunglasses still on. And he sinks to the bottom like a rock.
I don't remember how this conversation went, but he did say that he was going to quit acting.
Yeah.
He's like, oh,
that's when they came up.
After this, I'm done. I'm not going to act anymore.
Javi went in to save him, and they had this heart-to-heart after.
Yeah, so they went on. He says he didn't want to go to the cliffs or hang out with Javi the next day, and then the woman was like, "No, you go."
Yeah, Gabriella.
Yeah, Gabriella. She's like, "You go and you be his friend, and you laugh at his jokes and take care of him because like you're here, and that's what we paid you for."
He's pretty much like, "Screw that," and then she rips the bed sheets off of him and says, "You are going, Nick Cage. You sit with him."
Yeah. So they're going on a ride, and then like. Yeah. Javi does a bunch of like impromptu, like, oh my god, they're chasing after us. Oh no, like it's gonna be dangerous. And he's like,
stupid foot chase through the middle of nowhere.
He's like, you're not like doing some sort of meta thing, and you're like, oh no, the helicopter's coming, and like, oh no, we gotta save Gabriella.
It's the general.
We love the general. And like, no, we hate the general. You gotta fight him. And they take him over to like the cliff. He's like, I'm not gonna do this. He's like, you can't quit acting. You're Nick Cage. You're a genius.
It's like he's like, he pretty much makes a mention. He's like, your talent is a gift to mankind.
Yeah.
He's like, sometimes we are so massively talented that we cannot take our own gift away no matter how much we want to.
Yeah.
Just like, excuse me.
And then eventually like Nick Cage is like, we have to get away. The general is after us.
What I call the Gone in 60 Seconds moment where he's like, let's ride.
Yeah. And then he acts his ass off like and then the other guy like responds. He's like, do you love her? He's like, I love her with all my heart and soul. He's like, then we ride. Yeah. And they both like jumped over the cliff. He's like, oh shit!
I didn't know that was a cliff. We could have died.
So they landed and Nick Cage gets up. He's like, that was a real cliff. He's like, I could have died. He was so committed to it. He was wearing a freaking robe, man.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Crap.
And then somehow Nick Cage, he asked for a script. He's like, I'm going to read your script and like it's going to be great. Yeah. And he reads it. And he goes into town, starts reading it, and that's when he runs into Vivian.
That's when he gets taken.
Gets taken by Vivian and the CIA to become a mole. What?
We missed. So he had a conversation before this with Nikki.
Oh, did he? Oh,
yeah. So
another Nikki conversation.
Yeah. So he has another. Let's get back to this one.
Pick him up.
There we go. Yeah, it works.
Same thing.
So now Nick Cage is now in a restaurant having another drink after just jumping into freaking water off a cliff.
Yeah.
And he's having a drink, and then he's still doubting himself. And Nikki pops up and has a conversation with him. He's just like, "You're."
I'm Nick.
Nick Cage! And he picks him up and he just gives him the biggest kiss to himself. He had a Loki moment and makes out with himself.
Yeah,
he's like
old Nick Cage makes out
and
then
young Nick Cage young Nick Cage, Nicky is like, Nick Cage is a good smoocher. He's a good smoocher. Just out of nowhere.
That was his idea, apparently.
Yeah, so man, I got lightheaded talking about that. That was a whole lot happening right there.
Yeah, this movie has a lot. Like this is everything you'd want it to be. This movie.
Oh man, this thing is like the cherry on top of a cherry on top. It is on top of a cherry.
Yeah, that's when he gets taken by the CIA.
Yeah,
and that's when they say you got to be a plant, and they give him they tell him to like during the party like hack the security.
Yeah,
they give him a sticker thing. This reminded me of The Interview too, where he has to like poison.
This reminded me of a Leslie Nielsen movie.
Yeah, just a little bit of that, and also mixed in with some old school Will Ferrell.
Yeah,
very old school here, but Nick Cage does some spy stuff and like actually breaks into the. He breaks into the security room, and then security starts like coming, and he's like, "Okay, well, we give you the knockout sticker on your hand. Just put on your hand. Don't touch your hand with it."
Are we skipping a scene, or is this before? I can't remember. This movie happened so quickly.
Well, there's a lot. Like you can't always cover like the whole movie.
Yeah, we're trying not to.
But yeah, there's another trip acid scene, but I think that happens next.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a pretty good acid scene that happens next.
This is great.
But like this part has my favorite like laugh out loud moment.
Yeah.
Like in a while.
I was sitting next to him. We don't usually watch movies together because we like to keep the correspondence.
Yeah, we just happened to
the sets.
We both happened to what's it called? But like this had like the biggest laugh out loud moment because he's in the security room, and they give him they already gave him that sticker of knockout. Yeah, sticky stuff.
Yeah, whatever.
And then he accidentally wipes his head with it. Yeah. He's like, I think I just touched my head with the the knockout sticker. Yeah. And he goes, did you or did you? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, oh, dude, I totally did. Like, I feel like woozy. And then they give him all kinds of weird commands. We're like, and they got to get up. He's like, oh no, he's dying. He's gonna get caught. He's gonna get shot and we're screwed. Yeah. And he's like passing out. And then like the security guard's like walking around.
Yeah, he passes out.
He passes. Okay. He's like, why don't you get on the? I remember they're like, get on the.
She was so specific.
She was so specific. Get on the balcony and then like start walking like on the molding like on the side of the building.
So
he's
10
like
feet.
Yeah, so he's doing like spy stuff on the side of the thing while like almost dying. He's like, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna fall. He's like, it's like, dog, you're not gonna die in this place. You're gonna get out of there. It's like, okay. And then he finally gets into the next room.
Yeah.
Because that's where the antidote is.
Yes.
He left it in the other room. And then he just like passes the out. Right? And then like, oh my God, Nick Cage is dead. He's passed out. And then like they're like freaking out. And then like she stops and she's like, action, and he gets the heck up and he's like
the consummate professional that he is.
Action.
He's like acting
and he picks up the thing and like revives and he's fine after that.
Everyone in the theater lit up laughing.
That was like so random. It was like, how's he gonna get out of this one? Action.
It couldn't have happened any other way.
Oh yeah,
this was the best moment ever, man.
Yeah, and you know he did. Not a whole lot pays off from that, no. I think, but I think
that was just a scene for the fans.
Yeah, it was just a good like old school like I'm dying and doing all kinds of like crazy things. I just remember I channeled Will Ferrell like and then I'm like I just got a f***ing dirt in my neck.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
So obviously now he's Spy 1000.
Yeah, he's a spy, and they tell him to go to like this barn. Like there's a barn. We think that's where they're keeping the kidnapped president's daughter.
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay, I'll go. And then as he's walking there, Javi's like, where are you going? He's like, oh.
Yeah, that's his mirror.
Yeah.
This mirrored door.
This big mirrored door. He's like, where are you going? He's like, oh, I'm just walking. He's like, I think we need to like make a movie together. Like, oh yeah, we said that earlier. He says, oh yeah, at the pool, he says like, I'm not going to make your movie. Like it was a good script.
Yeah.
And he's like, yay, but I'm not going to be in it. Oh, but we'll make a movie together. Yay.
Yeah.
And then Javi's like, for our movie, I think we need to do LSD.
Yeah.
And then
acid.
Yeah, acid. and he's like, F it. Okay. So
it takes a drop on the tongue, and then they go driving the Spanish countryside.
Oh yeah, and they think like these two weirdos, like these two guys like hanging out, like they're following us. Oh no, and they start like running away. There's all kinds of antics.
Yeah,
like some stooge.
It's straight up like a buddy comedy movie, which they made mention of.
And then like somehow like the CIA calls me like, what are you doing? Did you look in the barn? He's like, I may have done LSD. What?
I'll talk to you later. I'm tripping balls.
Yeah, they start freaking out, and then they have to get away. And he's like, I can't drive with on LSD. And then like Javi's like, I saw Gone 60 seconds DVD extras. Yeah. You totally know how to stunt drive. He's like, I did pop some pretty cool wheelies.
He's like, damn it.
He's like, damn it. Yeah. And then they Wolf of Wall Street everywhere.
It was so ridiculous. Oh man, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And then so now they get to that barn area and they find, and Nick Cage is trying to get in.
Well,
Right? Yeah, I think that was after.
Was it after?
Yeah,
all this
because
stuff?
Javi fell asleep in the car.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
He fell.
Because he went to the door twice.
Yeah.
That's why I was confused.
Yeah, so he did get to the door.
Yeah.
And that's when Javi came back. He's like, why do you want to go in this room so bad? Yeah. He's like,
I want to go in there, Javi.
yeah, I need to go in there. He's like, our friendship will be forever changed once you go in this room. He's like, I need to go in the room, Javi. He's like, are you sure? Because we cannot unsee what you see in here. He's like, Javi, let's do this. Like it was pretty awesome.
It was so intense.
Yeah, like because like he knew he thought like it was going to be like his secret like arms dealer like kidnapped stash room, and he's like, I need to see what's in here. And he opens it up, and it is a shrine, an absolute shrine to Nick Cage.
It is a Nick Cage mecca in there, man.
And all his props and everything from all his movies. It had the bunny from Con Air.
Yeah.
Like the chainsaw from Mandy and everything else.
Oh, man. And then it had the coup de grace.
Yeah.
The le piece de resistance.
The full-size face-off Nick Cage with the funny face.
With the two golden guns.
With the two golden Smith & Wesson, wasn't it?
Customs, man.
Yeah, customs built specifically for that.
Is it too much? Is this supposed to be me? It's grotesque.
And then they do the Chekhov's gun, which is, those are real guns, don't you? He's like, of course, made custom for the movie. You know what Chekhov's gun is?
No, I don't.
It's a movie principle where if you show the gun, you have to use the gun.
Oh.
So I'm like, uh-oh.
Oh, damn.
So we'll see where this goes.
Yeah, so that's being built upon there. But the thing holding these two guns is a full-size bust of Nick Cage. It's not
even a bust. It's a full-size.
Oh, it's a full Nick Cage.
Full-size,
Okay.
full
It's a
man,
mannequin.
1-1 of Nick Cage with the funniest looking face you've ever seen.
He asked Javi, how much did this cost you? He's like, $6,000. He's like, it's horrendous. I'll give you $20,000.
So he went on for a while. That's horrendous. It's ugly. It gives me nightmares. I hope I never see this again. The most disgusting thing I've ever seen.
I'll give you $20,000 for it.
That was the best. And Javi's like, no, Nick Cage, this is not for sale.
This is not for sale. He's like, I need
It's just so bad. This back and forth was absolute insanity. I was laughing the entire time. It was quite entertaining. So we wipe to a scene now after, and Javi and Nick are skeet shooting.
Oh yeah.
So we wiped to skeet shooting.
Right before this, he has a conversation with the CIA.
Yes.
And then the CIA is like, oh, well, I guess we don't know where the kidnapped people are. Tell him in the movie you want a kidnap scene. Because a kidnap scene would be like great in the movie. He's like, but the movie has nothing to do with it. The movie needs a chase.
Yeah.
The movie needs like
the
action.
Movie needs a trailer moment.
It needs a trailer moment. He's like, oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Like Nick Cage does.
He's like, damn it, Tiffany Haddish, you're correct here.
That's when they're skeet shooting. And
Yeah.
he's like, what if our movie had a kidnapping? He's like, why would our movie have a kidnapping? That's not happening.
This is an adult entertainment movie.
Yeah, this is a serious movie.
Yeah.
He's like, I just think like the movie needs a trailer moment. He's like, oh, you're right.
He's like, I don't know, Nick Cage. And then he angrily says, pull! And shoots.
Yeah,
after
shoots
this
the
long soliloquy that he tells Nick Cage that we're not going to recite because I can't recall it.
Yeah, there's a lot of like acting, like really buddy moments in this movie.
There's actual acting in this movie. It's really good.
And then this is when during this whole thing, we don't really know what Javi's relationship is to the kidnapped girl.
Yes.
And we don't know what his relationship is to said arms deal.
Yeah.
So for all we know, he is, Pablo Escobar.
Yeah.
Right?
Essentially.
For all we know. And then that's what we're being told throughout this movie, and that's what Nicolas Cage believes he is. So the next scene, Javi's like, I have something to show you, something very important. Yeah. And he's like, well, what is it? And he opens the door, and it's his ex-wife and daughter.
Yeah.
And like, oh my God, they said you're in trouble. Are you in trouble, Dad? Yeah, the cat, someone's got to feed the cat.
Yeah, he's like, and Javi's like, he's dying creatively.
What?
You mean we flew out here for this?
Yeah, they were pretty pissed. And meanwhile, Nick Cage thinks Pablo Escobar just abducted, kidnapped his family.
He's like, and then he calls the CIA. He's like, my family's here. Javi brought my family here.
Yeah, and that's when the CIA says, like, we've been made. Like, we know that, like, they're on to us. They're on to you. And, like, you guys got to get out of there. You got to, like, figure this out. Meanwhile, while he's talking to the CIA, Javi's talking to his weird, like...
his cousin.
His his cousin Lucas.
Yeah, his cousin Lucas, played by
Paco Leon.
Yeah, Paco Leon.
Who totally has like the craziest like bleached hair.
Dude, crazy bleached hair, wild eyes. It looks like he has ramen on his head.
Yeah, they showed him I think a little earlier too. I'm like, oh, this guy looks crazy. So like, it turns out it's actually Lucas who is the kidnapper.
Is the mob boss.
And he's the mob boss.
Yeah, so the reason everybody thought that Javi was because Javi's father was the mob boss.
He wanted him to think that he was the mob boss. And he's like, you won't believe this, but like Nick Cage is working for the CIA. And
then he starts laughing. Like everybody else would, right?
Your friend is working for the U.S. government. Don't lie to me.
Yeah, it just...
While eating a bowl of Fruit Loops.
Because I like Fruit Loops. It was like a weird Fruit Loops. It was like unicorn Fruit Loops, remember?
It was super odd, man. It was perfect for the scene, but my God, that looked like you cut the roof of your mouth.
Oh, yeah. So good. Oh, my God. There's this cereal called Crave. It's like Captain Crunch, but it's filled with chocolate. And it like breaks apart before it cuts the roof of your mouth.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to eat a bowl of that when we're done.
Jeez.
Oh, my God. That'll make my day. Anyway.
I'm going to go get chicken because I made a bunch of it.
I'm not getting chicken because I had chicken yesterday. And I can't have the same thing twice, one day after another.
It's like chicken sandwiches for the soul.
Yeah, really. Oh, my God. After the movie, I went looking for like some groceries. I couldn't find them. So I was really mad. I'm like, I want to go eat something now. And I had...
How did you not find groceries? You're a grown man, sir.
No,
Peter Pan.
This is what happened. It's a story now, and I even wrote it down in my notes.
Oh no!
Because what happened was there's something called amaretto coffee creamer.
Okay.
I mean, like there's hazelnut, like different flavors.
I'm looking straight at my camera because I'm trying to shut you down in a second. Hold on. Keep going.
Amaretto coffee creamer. It has been eluding me for the past 3-4 years since 2019. I have not had this amaretto coffee creamer. Uh-huh. So then I did some Googling and I found out that they have it at the Walmart like grocery store up on Hawthorne, like by the Galleria.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, oh my God, I finally had it. Like it was like the only place that had it.
Yeah.
Like it was actually on like I went to the amaretto company search and they said they have it here or they have it like somewhere in like Orange County.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, it's like closer. So after the movie, I'm like, I'm going to drive there and pick some up because I haven't had this since 2019.
Yeah.
And I went to the grocery store and guess what they didn't have?
They didn't have your creamer, man.
I was so mad. I walked out of there and I'm like, oh, I'm hungry now. So I went to Chick-fil-A and had my fried chicken sandwich. And that was my after movie adventure.
And you know what I do when I don't have my creamer or milk? I drink my coffee black.
No, it's not that, dude.
I'm in it for the caffeine.
Well,
but I get it. I get going on that crazy hunt.
Here's the thing.
Something you want.
I believe coffee black is good. I also believe that coffee with just a splash like whole milk or half and half is really good.
Yeah, because the acid.
That's how I have it. But like my deal that I've made with myself is no more coffee creamer.
Yeah, creamer's terrible.
It's so bad for you. If you
it is like putting fat and sugar straight up into your coffee.
I'll tell you right now.
I'll tell you what
happened in the movie. Anyway, I'll tell you what. I seriously lost like 20 pounds in like 2 months when I cut out coffee creamer out of my diet.
It's crazy.
Like seriously.
You don't feel like garbage after you have your coffee. Also, when I do it, it's like legit like as long as it covers the surface tension of the bottom of the cup.
But it ruins it actually ruins like your entire metabolism.
Yeah.
Having
if you pay for good coffee, why are you going to mess it up?
But my deal that I made with myself is since
sponsor us, Black Rifle. Have your stuff at home.
Yeah. Amaretto coffee creamer. If I can find it, since it's so elusive, that's the only one I will drink.
Okay.
If I ever find it. So it's like my crack. Anyway.
I'd pour whiskey in mine.
Which is funny because I actually could use Disaronno.
There you go.
And I figured out how to make this coffee creamer, which is use almond and cinnamon. Almond extract, cinnamon, and almond extract, cinnamon. Was that it?
Dude, I don't know.
Almond extract and cinnamon. Yeah. Oh, and sweetened condensed milk.
Oh.
That makes the exact same thing.
Nice.
So maybe I'll make that now. Anyway. So they found out that Nick Cage was made by the CIA and then he works for the thing. And then Lucas says to Javi, you have to kill your friend Nick Cage.
Yeah, or I will kill you.
Meanwhile, on the other end of the spectrum, the CIA
Nick Cage is actually in the room with his wife and daughter,
talking to the CIA.
Yeah, letting them know, you gotta get the fuck out of here.
They're like, you got to get firearms. Where can you secure firearms? Like, I think I know where.
Yeah. It's like most Nick Cage thing ever.
Yeah, so he gets his face-off golden guns.
Yeah.
And then the two, Javi and Nick Cage, they end up meeting, but they have like the tension conversation that they should have had like earlier in the movie.
Such a Clint Eastwood moment.
Yeah.
Man.
Where they like had to kill each other and like they didn't want to tell it.
It was a face-off.
Yeah, it literally was a face-off, and it was like acting. It was really good.
The scene was so perfectly done too.
Oh my God.
The way the camera was centered, the way everything just led up to them walking right into one another. And the funny thing is, they were dressed up like they were going to go bowling.
Are those my golden guns?
They're my golden guns.
I don't want to kill you.
You're the last person I want to kill.
I love you. I love you.
I know. But I like you, Nick Cage. I like you too. You're like the friend that like I wouldn't talk to for 10 years and we'd pick up right where we left off. She's like, I feel this too about you.
Yeah.
And they realize they don't want to kill each other.
Yeah.
And then that's when
So you guys remember that scene where Javi just abruptly stops the car and takes off running through the wilderness with Nick Cage and they jump off a cliff?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? That scene comes right back and they're doing the exact same thing.
because Lucas
Your mind is blowing everywhere.
Lucas and his men come after him.
Yeah.
And they manage to get away for the minute. And it's Javi's like girlfriend, like housekeeper person who saves them here. And she saves them and she saves the
Mom and daughter.
They saved the mom. The daughter was kidnapped.
Oh, right.
Kidnapped along with the president's daughter, the Catalonian president's daughter. And they're like, we need to save her. How do we save her? Apparently, Lucas was going to make some big deal with some long lost mob boss who is laying low so no one knows what he looks like. And they're like, hey, you're the world's greatest actor. And your wife is a makeup artist. What if we made you, Alfonso or whatever, right?
Whatever his name is.
And he's like, oh, it had to be me. And this reminded me of Tropic Thunder with Robert Downey Jr. dressing like
going straight blackface.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, there was it was not necessarily the blackface, but remember he dressed up like.
Well, he
went yellowface because he went back in with dressed like the farmer.
Oh right. Because he actually had a procedure to change his skin tone.
Oh my God, that movie was intense. You know who directed that?
No. Zack Snyder. I'm totally kidding.
No, even weirder. It was Ben Stiller.
Really?
Ben Stiller wrote and directed that along with Zoolander.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Zoolander was good. So was Tropic Thunder, man.
Tropic Thunder. See Tropic Thunder. But yeah, he pulls a Tropic Thunder where he goes in and him and his wife go in. But he's doing like a Scarface.
Which is such a freaking, now that you're saying Tropic Thunder and whatchamacallit, it's such a nod to, what is that movie? To Zoolander. Because him and his girlfriend in the movie, which is his wife, go undercover.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Huh. His real wife.
Yeah, his real wife in the freaking movie Zoolander.
Very meta.
Yeah. So it's like, it's all coming back, man. So many nods in this movie.
So he
whether
goes,
they're intentional or not.
Oh, yeah, probably. So he goes to meet Lucas under disguise of the Scarface character.
Yes.
But Lucas gets a gun. He's like, "Oh, you tried to mess with me after being gone for a long time." He's like, "I was gone," but then his wife like pulled like a counter Scarface. Like, you're not going to kill him. You would have killed him from the get go.
And where do you get the balls to threaten me?
Yeah,
I was like, oh crap.
Yeah, so they got pretty intense. And that's when they start spying again, but he's in the Scarface costume.
Yeah.
And then they get made by like this other goon, Carlos.
Yeah, so they get they get made by they find one goon, punch him in the face, Nick Cage does.
Yeah.
And then they get made by
this Carlos guy who like appeared a bunch of while. He was the guy with the camera in that once. He's like, I got the camera. I'm like, oh, I hate this guy.
Yeah. Who's this guy?
I got this guy. I'm glad he got hit by a car later. Yeah. Carlos.
Spoiler.
Yeah. You go like, so they get made, and then the Lucas peels the makeup off of Nick Cage's face, and he's like, ha ha ha, Nick Cage, like, this is amazing, I'm gonna kill Nick Cage or something like that. And somehow they managed to get away. And
Nick Cage has a super meta moment. So you guys remember that scene we were talking about where he tried to play a Boston cop?
Oh yeah.
So the scene goes along, the wording goes along this way of, you pull the trigger, I still have 16 healthy muscles in my finger that
It
go
takes like 20 milliseconds
Yeah.
to pull the trigger. You shoot me, I still have the 10 milliseckons to put a bullet in your brain. So you got to ask yourself, do you want a bullet in your brain too? But it's all like
me,
Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, he's like, me, if I have to go down that way, it's a good way to go.
But I don't want to go that way. To you, he's like, oh man, he's acting.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so beautiful. Much like how Ben Stiller stopped the Ninja Star
Oh, he did.
with his looks. Oh my.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a freaking movie, man.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
I didn't even think about Zoolander like at first. When we
I
were
didn't
doing
either. But hey, this thing is like an onion. It's got layers.
this. Wow.
Oh, that was good too.
movie.
Wow.
But they find the girl.
Yes.
They release both girls, and then the first girl kidnapped. She's like, "Oh my God, is that Nick Cage?"
Mind you, she's the girl the movie started off with, where she was watching Con Air. So she's in love with Nick Cage, and now she sees Nick Cage in front of her in the flesh.
Yeah, right.
Blew my mind.
Now their big plan now is to steal a car
Yes.
and get to the U.S. embassy where they will be protected.
Yeah. So now we have Nick Cage, Javi Gutierrez, Olivia, the wife. We have Gabriella, and we have what's the daughter? And then we have Maria, the kidnapped kid.
Yeah.
And whatever her daughter's name is.
There's a lot of people.
Addie Cage. So they're all in they're all in this super rad car.
Yeah, they're trying to escape.
Yeah.
Javi's like, I need to like
And they're
slow
being
them
chased
down.
by Lucas.
Yeah, they're being chased by Lucas. Javi's like, I need to slow them down.
Yeah.
And then Javi and
Javi gets out.
Javi gets out. We don't notice, but Gabriella gets out too.
As the car drives away, she's right there. He's
So
like,
so they have the guns, they're getting shot at, and Javi gets shot in the shoulder. Then Gabriella just gets like jumps out of the way or something.
Yeah.
So we don't really know what happens to them for a minute, and then there's like the Bad Boys 2 chase down like the freaking like down the Spanish what do you call the Spanish looking
the Frontera.
yeah all this Tuscanini looking place, and then they're doing the Bad Boys 2 chase with these drug dealers, and they crash into the embassy, and then it just turns into like a big like
Nick Cage gets hauled out of the car by Lucas Gutierrez over here.
Yeah.
And he's pulling back this car saying, I'll kill him.
yeah.
And then
I don't know.
then okay, so I'll break the scene down because this gets super
there's
meta.
a lot going on.
So then Addie Cage, Nick Cage's daughter in this movie, played by Lily Mo Sheen.
Mm-hmm.
That knife that was in the car, she grabs it and goes, Dad! And all I could think of was Face Off!
Yeah.
You got a stab and twist, right? You guys remember this, right? So she throws the knife and he freaking
He catches it like a boss.
Yeah.
And stabs Lucas in the face.
Yeah, in the
not
chest.
In the chest, I'm sorry. But it reminded me also of Big Trouble in Little China, where
Yes.
Kurt Russell caught the knife too.
exactly.
Oh man, it's badass.
So meta. So he catches it, stabs him, Lucas falls, and then the scene wipes back. And who do we see on the other end that is playing the mom now? It is not.
It's Demi Moore.
It's Demi Moore. It is not what's her face. It is not his movie.
If you remember Goldmember, where the end of the movie turned into, by the way, John Travolta played Dr. Evil in this.
Yeah.
At the end of Goldmember, the movie stopped and it turned into the movie of the movie.
Movie of the movie. So it was super meta.
Yeah.
So this thing
Ends with the movie of the movie.
Ends with the movie of the movie that they've been talking about throughout this entire movie.
Yeah.
And then we pan back and everybody is clapping because we have been watching a movie.
Yeah, a movie. But
so good.
But it really happened though.
Yeah, it really happened.
So that's good. I was afraid that the movie never happened by the end of the movie.
Yeah,
but it did happen.
And they handled that beautifully because they could have totally played on that was a dream. Nick Cage was drunk the entire time.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't pull that punch.
M. Night.
Oh my God, that guy.
That guy. This movie was his wet dream.
I don't know, man. I think this is pretty good. And then it ended with Nick Cage and his ex-wife and his daughter all watching movies.
Yes.
At the very end. Oh, and we missed like that big joke because Nick Cage asked Javi when they were hanging out, and when the beginning, he's like, "What's your favorite movie?" He's like, "I don't know, Face Off." And like, "What's your Paddington 2 was great." Like, what the movie came out is like top movies. Like IGN is like number 1, Paddington 2, and then like the first like line of that was like, seriously, like this is a good movie. Like, watch it.
Yeah.
I don't even know what Paddington's about.
It's a little bear that
I know that much.
has a family. Yeah.
It's like the Bernstein
old
Bears
books.
plot. Who knows? But anyway,
So the movie ends with
Nick Cage and his estranged family bonding over Paddington 2.
Yeah, his daughter asked him, like, do you want to watch a movie? And he's like, yeah, Dad, whatever you want. And he's like, no, you can put on whatever you want. And she's like, have you ever seen Paddington 2? And he's like,
yeah.
And then we cut the movies on and they're just hanging out.
And also, by the way, so this is how the movie ends. No after credit sequence, which I was very happy about.
Thank goodness.
I think I'm sick of after credit sequences.
I am.
I'm sick
Stop
of having
doing
Google
them.
things.
Just give me trailers and movie. That's all I want.
Yeah, right. Or a mid credit sequence maybe, or like there's like first credits, but they're really flashy. Have really flashy first credits, or like have it be part of the movie or something. If I have to watch credits, then like I'd rather just have that. Yeah. But very, very entertaining movie, very meta. And as we were kind of talking, I remember not too long ago, not to date this, remember we reviewed, was it Crab Run or Crab Walk? What's that movie called?
Black Crab.
That
movie's something.
Yeah, it was something, but I remember thinking it needed a lot of camp. Like it needed extra energy. It needed Nick Cage energy.
It did. And Nick Cage would have taken that movie over the top.
Because like that's what a dumb fun can add to your movie. It could save your movie. Not that the unbearable weight of massive talent needed saving. I'm just saying that in the right hands, crazy campy, crazy meta fun can steal the show. And I really hope it does well. I really hope people see it.
Yeah, I mean,
definitely one of the better movies of the year. A lot of good movies this year.
Yes. So speaking of good movies, are you ready for some letter grades?
Yeah, you go start.
I will start this one off. A+, absolutely. I'm a huge Nick Cage fan, and even if I wasn't, the chemistry between him and Pedro Pascal just took the movie to another level. Come on. It's a movie within a movie about movies within movies. This is M. Night's wet dream. The cast, the acting, and the extra meta-ness just made this movie highly enjoyable. Go watch it.
I guess it's also pretty Christopher Nolan with the movie within a movie within a movie. I'm going to give this an A-. This is an over-the-top love letter to Nicolas Cage you never knew you wanted. Massive talent is funny, action-packed, and the glue that holds it all together is the fact that this is the life you wish Nicolas Cage actually lives.
It's good.
But yeah, check it out. Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, starring Nicolas Cage as Nick Cage and Nicky Cage.
It's so good. Only he could play 3 actors and himself.
Oh my God, he did play 3 actors, and they played a bunch of clips from all the movies that he was in. Remember at Moonstruck? He won an Oscar too. What's another good one? Is Raising Arizona.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh yes, Raising Arizona. He played Hillbilly. Okay. But anyway, remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Check out our Patreon.
Yeah.
Check out our merch. We are here. Tell a friend. Do what you can. Hide your kid. Hide your wife. Yeah. I'm your host, Mark Rubalcaba, for Mr. A.O. Panetta. For Clubhouse Movies Podcast, we'll catch you next time. Not the bees!